Today we will do some examples on this while loop. In while loop, we have three steps here. This is initialization. First, we will declare a variable here. So it is not initialization. Declare variable. Keep condition. This is a condition. If this condition satisfies, it will try repeat execute the same code until this code falls. Here we have increment here. These three are mandatory. First, we will declare a variable. We will keep a condition on that variable. After that, we will increment. These three are the main steps while declaring while loop. We will do some examples today here. For suppose my problem statement is I want to print numbers. I want to print numbers from 0 to 100. Just simple task. Now I will declare variable I equal to 0. Why? Because I want to start my while loop with 0. So I given I equal to 0. Now I'm declaring condition here. While inside brackets, I want to print until 100. Like 100 is also included. So for that, I will give I less than or equal to 100. Colon here. After that, print I. Simple, no confusion. If you have any doubt, just let me know. I hope I'm clear. Just I will execute this code. I didn't given increment here. If you observe, we have three steps: declaring a variable, keep condition, and increment. Just I plus 1. Waiting for. Let me clear this all. Problem with Jupyter notebook here. Actually, this was we are doing on the same notebook. When I loaded this notebook first time, I want to reset all output. Then only this will work fine. Otherwise, you will get errors like this. If you observe, I want to print numbers from 0 to 100. I've written this code. Now, if you check, it's printing from 0 to 100. In same way, I want to print numbers from 100 to 0. What you will do in this situation? Just I want to rotate, just rotate this, swap these numbers. Here I want to start this loop from 100. I want to till 0. For that, same we will have same steps here. We have to declare variable n equal to 100. Why? Because we have to start from 100. We have to print till 0. Like this is quite opposite to above problem statement. While this is same inside these conditions, n greater than or equal to 0. First time n will be 100. 100 greater than 0. It's true. Then it will come inside. here print n. After that, we will use decrement here. Here we are moving from 0 to 100, like we want to go ahead for that why I given I plus 1. Here I want to decrease the number, that's why given I given n minus 1. You observe my loop started from 100, it's ended at 0. This is a simple while loop condition. Like based on your condition, your initialization will vary, your ending operator, maybe it may be increment, it may be decrement, that depends on your condition. When I want to print from 0 to 100, I given this is an increment. Why? Because I want to move one number forward. In this situation, I want to move one number backward from 100 to 0. I want to downgrade my number. That's why I given minus. These are the two examples on while loop. And then now we will go from, like, first I will take one list. For suppose L equal to my list. Inside my list, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This assume I have a list. Inside my list, I have 6 numbers. Now, if I want to access these numbers, I will give numbers like this. L of 0 is referring to 1. Why? Because index starts from 0. I want second number, then I will give 1. Okay, I'm accessing these elements manually, like I'm giving L of 0, then only I'm getting this first number. For suppose I have a big list, like 10,000 numbers inside my list. Just assume this list is continuing with 10,000 numbers. I want to print each number once. In that situation, I can't do like this, like L of 1, L of 2, L of 3. I can't give this. Why? Because 10,000 numbers are there. I have to give 10,000 times. In these situations, we can use loops. Why? Because every time we are executing same code, if you observe, first time I give an L of 0, then I will give L of 2 here. Code is same. Inside this number is changing. L open bracket and close bracket is same, but inside number is changing. If you observe while loop here, just we are incrementing numbers 0 to 100. Here it's same happening. It started from 0. It's incrementing up to 10,000. If it is a list, we will give 10,000 numbers. Now we will access this element with while loop. Okay, just you learn list, you learn while loop. Now we are both combining this list and while loops. How we will access each element at a time from list, and we will like we will bring out one element from that list. We will do some operation and we will again put back to that list. Just I will make a title here. Accessing list items with while loop. I equal to 0. Why? Because list index will start from 0. So definitely we have to start this variable initialization from 0 only. No other chance. While now here we have to break this loop with condition. Like if you are going to increment, this will go until like n number, that may be infinity. We have to stop this loop at end of this loop. For suppose if you observe in this loop, we have 6 numbers. This length of this loop is 5. So before that, I will take length of that list inside a variable, length of L. Inside I we have 0. Inside length we have 5. No, it's 6. 6 numbers are there. Inside length we will get 6. Just print once here. Yeah, we have 6 inside our length. So here my condition will be like my last number I will access with L of 5. So I will give I less than length colon print of L of I. Yes, I want to increment. Why? Because I'm starting with 0 and I have to increment until this loop reaches ends. It's simple. I plus equal to 1. I'll remove this length here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will change L here. We will give new list. Instead of those 1, 2, 3, I will give some names here. Then you will get clear idea of what I am doing here. Just now I defined a new list with 4 items. Just I'm looping over through that list. Then I can print each element here. Like this is the program to read elements from the list programmatically with while loop. This is a simple task like where we will use this list. We are combining list and while loop code. Any questions? Yeah, now we will go for loops. 1 minute. I'm making this heading here. For loops are used to do same task like same code repetition task, but in different conditions. For suppose uh, in while condition, in while loop we have a condition here, but in for loops we will define some range. I'll write here. For loops are used to when we have sequence instead of condition. In while loop, we will keep one condition. We will execute that loop until that condition fails. But in for loops, that is a different. We will be having one range or a sequence. If you see one example, you will get to know what I'm trying to explain. For suppose, same, I want to print numbers from 1 to n for I. This is the variable I here. Just I'll show syntax now. Range of 1 to 10. For is a keyword for defining a for loop. After that, we will define one variable I. In is a keyword for I in range of 1 to 10. For suppose I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. I will give range as a function here, like for I in range. I am defining a range 1 to 10. I'm telling for loop to take I from 1 to 10. Inside this, first time I will get 1. Then again that will increment, and next time I will get 2. Like this, I will get until 9. Why? Because 10 is not included. For suppose I want to print 10, I have to give 11 here. Just let me execute this code. I got numbers from 1 to 10. Just I will explain one more time. For is a keyword to define a for loop. Put some message in chat. Yeah. For is a keyword to define a for loop. After that, we will give one variable. It may be j, it may be I. You can take anything here, like n. You can take any string or any variable. Just we will use this variable inside our for loop. For suppose if I given value here, inside where I want to use that value, I have to give same variable there. If I give I here, if I want to use that value, I have to give value wherever I want to use that value. I will use this variable value as a variable. After that, in keyword, range is a definitive range like 1 to 10. I want to print numbers from 1 to 10, so I give a 1, 11. Like here, range is a function that will give numbers from 1 to 10. Last one is excluded. For suppose you can start from 0. Now you will get numbers until 0 to 10. It started from 0, incremented till 10. If you observe the difference between while loop and for loop, in while loop we have 3 steps. For declaring while loop, we have 3 steps. First is variable initialization. After that, condition. After that, increment. But when it's come to for loop, in one line everything is over, like declaration, condition, and increment. Why? Because in for loop we don't have condition, we have ranges or sequences. For suppose you want to go until 100 to 200, we want to go 300 to 400. In that situation, we will use for loop like range or sequence. Here, no need to increment the value. For loop automatically it will increment values. This is the syntax difference. While loop is a little bit, you can say little bit things, more things. We have to do things more like initialization, condition, and increment. But in for loop, if you don't have any condition, you have range or sequence, directly you can go with for loop. Yeah. For suppose here, for numbers I given a range here. With this range, I want to start from 100. I want to print until 120. So I will give 121 as my second number. It start with 100. It will go until 120. Last number is excluded in range function. For suppose here in range function, when I started with 100, it's incrementing one number one time. For suppose if I want to increment two numbers at two times, then I will give just two here. If you observe, one number is kept for every loop: 100, 102, 104, 108. Like we have some inbuilt operations in range. You can start for loop with any number. You can increment any numbers. For suppose I have to increment three numbers at a time, I will give just three here as a third number. First, you have to give for loop starting number. You have to give for loop starting ending number, which is excluded, and then you will give difference here. If you give 4, it will skip 4 numbers for every loop. These are the operations inside this range function. In some situations, you will get may requirement like you want to skip even numbers, you want to skip odd numbers. In that situations, this range function is very handy. Like you can use like anything. Yeah, we did some operation on list, right? For this same list, I will do operation with for loop. You will get much clarity on while loop and for loop. For declaring for loop, just for space. After that, one variable. It may be, for suppose, I will give list item. Why? Because I am fetching each item from list, so I will give list item in. After that, that's it. Why? Because there is a sequence of sequence of items. List is a sequence of items. Then no need to give any range function or any other function. Just I will give L directly L list as a condition here. Then I will print list item. That's it. If you are dealing with numbers, you have to use range function. If you are dealing with like list or set or like a for list, no need to mention anything. Directly you will give list as a argument here. For list item in L. For suppose you can give here I also. For I in L, print I here. Very simple. To do same task with while loop, we've written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code. But for same task with for loop, we done with 2 lines. If you want any other explanation on for loop, I hope you got clarity with while loop and for loop. If anyone have any doubt, just let me know. I will explain more on this for loops. Yeah, now we will go for one assignment here. Yeah, actually I prepared one task for everyone. I will explain that. 1 minute. From today onwards, I will give every day one task. You have to solve the task. Next day, before starting that session, you have to submit the task. Very simple task. There's no need to worry about that. Just you have to spend at least 10 to 20 minutes on that task. You will done with the task. Very simple task I will give. But every day I will give one task. Before starting session, we will discuss on that task, like what the problems you got while doing that task. Uh, like if you got any error, what is that error? I will explain about that error, how to overcome that error, how you felt while doing that task. We will discuss on this every day. Every day I will give one task. The next day when I am going to start session, we will discuss on this task, what happened, what the problems you faced while working on that task. Like I'm going to give from today. Here task is build a student detention calculator. For suppose if you are a BTech graduate, definitely you would have know about detention in colleges. If you have less attendance, you have backlogs, then college will detain you from for that here. The college will not allow to write exams. So here, to do this task, collect attendance percentage from student, where I will execute code. For suppose I will execute your file like this, Python test.py. File is not that, but just let assume you name this file as a test.py. When I execute this file, you have to ask a student for his percentage, attendance percentage. You have to collect student attendance percentage, and you have to collect number of backlogs of student. If percentage is greater than 60, student allowed to write exam. Attendance percentage is between 50 to 60. Need to pay some penalty fee, we may call it convention or something. I didn't remember that name, but we have to pay some amount of money. Then we will get the opportunity to write exams. If attendance is 40 to 50 and he having medical certificate, he has to pay penalty. Then he allowed to write an exam. If he is not having any medical certificate, then he detained. If attendance is less than 40, directly we are going to tell him we are not allowing to your next year. We are not allowing to write exams. This is a simple if else condition program. If you have any doubts how to build this, just let me know. I will explain like coding part as a list, where to use which concept, where to use. I will explain that. Otherwise, if you guys want to try with your own, directly go with this. I will share this document in group. Just try to satisfy these conditions. If percentage is greater than 60, student is allowed to write exam. If percentage is 50 to 60, between 50 to 60, take fee from him and allow him for exam. If 40 to 50, then we have to ask for medical certificate. If less than 40, directly we are going to tell him you are not allowed to write this exam. This is a simple detention calculator. After finishing this session, I will share this document in WhatsApp. Then you will get to know. Yeah. I hope I'm clear with this for loop syntax. If you have any doubt, let me know, Novichal. For suppose in for loop, if we want to take numbers in a reverse order, here I will give -3, 120, 100. Yeah, if you observe, it started from 120. It's decreasing each value. For one loop, it's decreasing 3 values. Yeah, you can go from 0 to 100 or 100 to 200, 200 to 100. We can do anything with this for loop. Yeah, I will explain about one problem, one famous interview question, fees bus program in Python. Just let me type this. Actually, this question will be asked for entry level positions. For suppose you are a fresh college graduate, definitely you may face this question. You have to print numbers from 1 to n. N will be given by a user. Based on that n, if the number is divisible by 3, for suppose user given n equal to 10, we will loop over from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10. You can take anything like user given a number equal to 10. We will go from 10 to 1 is okay, 1 to 10 is also okay. But when we got a number which is divisible by 3 inside that user given range, we have to print fees. If number is divisible by 5, we have to print buzz. If number is divisible by 3 and 5, just print fees buzz. I'll start building this. Just concentrate on what I am doing. First, I am taking a input. Just I will wrap up with int here. Now I am declaring for loop. For is a keyword. After that space, give one variable. After that space, I in is mandatory here. In range of 0 to n. Just you like this. After that colon. Now my condition is if number is divisible by 3, I have to print fees. If number is divisible by 5, print buzz. If both, then fees buzz. So here, why I am looping means I have to take each number at a time. For suppose user given a number is 20, I want to take from 0 to 20. For that, I have to use for loop or while loop, anything. Now we have session on for loop, right? That's why I am using for loop. Just we did 2 tasks on while loop, but I would like to do this task with for loop. Just I am printing I here. Just I want to know which number is that. How we will know that number is divisible by 3 or divisible by 5? For that, just me comment this. I'm giving it 10. I want to test this 10 is divisible by 3 or not. For that, I will use mod operator. I will give 3. I'm doing division with 3 on 10. I'm taking reminder as a output. If this reminder is 0, then that we can say this number is divisible by 3. For suppose instead of 10, I will give 9 here. 3 3s are 9. We can say 9 is divisible by 3. We'll get 0. We will use same concept here inside this for loop. If I mod 3 equal to 0, if number is divisible by 3, I have to print fees. We have 3 conditions here. That's why I'm using elif here. One more condition, I mod 5. This time I will give 5. Why? Because I want to check this number is divisible by 5 or not. For that I am giving I mod 5 equal to 0. If this is fine, I will print buzz here. But if number is divisible by both 3 and 5, in that situation we have to print fees buzz. We have to change some logic here. Why? Because if number is divisible by 3, we want to check this number is divisible by 3 and divisible by 5. Why? Because if this is satisfied, 1 minute, I will explain why I'm giving 2 numbers here. For suppose the number is divisible by 3 and divisible 5, this will execute this statement. Yeah, this fine. First we have to check this is divisible by 3 and 5. After that we will take 3. After that we will take 5. I'm trying to execute this code. Yeah, it's asked for input. Let me remove this I statement. One minute. Yeah, inside else we have to print other numbers, right? For suppose if you take 2, this is not divisible by 3, not divisible by 5. So just we are skipping that number. We don't want to skip that number. Just I will print I here. 0 equal to 0, so it's printing uh, okay. For 1 is not divisible by 3 and not divisible 5. So we got directly number. If you take 3, we got buzz. If you take 5, we got fish buzz. Oh, it's giving wrong number. Yeah, we here we have to give two conditions separately. Just a minute. Yeah, if you observe, I mod 3 equal to 0 and I mod 5 equal to 0. When you will get 0, this is for suppose the number is 15. 15 is divisible by 3, so you will get 0 here. And the number 15 is divisible by 5, you will get 0 here. Then we have to get fish buzz. For 15 we got fish buzz. Why? Because it is divisible by 3 and 5. Remaining all we got alternate fish buzz. This is a simple exercise on for loop and if else conditions. If you solve problems like this on everyday basis, you will get good knowledge on these fundamentals. Then you can crack any entry level position. If you are an experienced person, you have to practice more on advanced concepts like OOPS and some like basics projects. You have to work on projects. Then you will get uh, good grasp on all fundamentals and projects as well. Yeah, with for loop, we can use else as well. For suppose with if we are using else here. For suppose when we are using else means if condition is failed, we will print else here. But in for loop, after finishing for loop, I want to say print for loop finished. In some situations, after executing this for loop, I want to do one task, like I want to notify someone for loop execution is completed. So in that situation, I will use else here. We can use else with if, and we can use else with for as well. In other languages, this is not possible. In Python, we have this option. For suppose I will give 20 here. Yeah, for loop finish it. This else part will be executed after completing the for loop. For suppose you are running some big for loop like text processing. You're reading all lines from a textbook which is 1,000 pages. Let us assume you are reading that a book. You are going through that book, each word and word. You are doing some processing on that word in NLP. Some in NLP projects we will do that. In that situation, to run that for loop, it will take some days. Like depends on the number of pages inside that book. Why? Because we are taking data from each page. We are taking each word from each page. We are doing some operations on that. To run that for loop, definitely it will take 2 days or 3 days, depends on your volume. For suppose you want to notify that whenever this for loop completed, like you want to get one mail like for loop completed to your mail inbox. You will write a code for loop for that text pre-processing code. Inside else part, you will write a code for sending mail to your mail for predefined mail. Whenever this for loop completed, that will send a mail to your mail ID. For example, you got mail, then you can know that that for loop execution is completed. Generally, in servers, we will do this type of task. For suppose, in my situation, we were testing some alarms for 5 days. Yeah, that will take 5 days time. We want to know when it will complete. When it is completed, I want some intimation. This for loop execution is completed. In that situation, I will use this else part. Just I will write a code to send an email. This for loop completed, then this will send a mail to predefined mail. Then I will get to know my code work is done. Like that, we can use else with for loop as well. And for loops is completed. We have nested for loops. For loop inside a for loop. Let me explain that. Actually, why we need nested for loops? Already, for suppose a task or repetition purpose, we are using one for loop. But in some situations, we want to use for loop inside a for loop. For suppose, I will give explanation. For suppose I want to print zeros like this, 1. For second line, I want 2 zeros. For third line, I want 3 zeros. For fourth line, I want 4 zeros. Like this. Here, let me explain. I want to print these zeros in 4 lines. For that, I want to run for loop for these 4 lines. I will start from line 0, line 1. For suppose, let us assume it's a line 1. I want to do some work in a line 1. Then I will go to line 2. Then I have to go line 3. Then I have to go line 4. This is also automated task for loop. To go each line by line, we need a for loop. Inside line, we want to go from 1 to 2 zeros and 2 to 3 zeros. Same way, we are going to 3 to 4 zeros. One for loop will take care about these lines. One for loop will take care about this internal things inside line. First, you will come to this line. You will do some operation here. Then you will go to next line. Means one loop is completed. Here, you came into this loop. This loop, you will run one more loop here. For suppose you have some more zeros here, then you will go one loop here like this. This loop will end it here. Then you will go to this previous loop and you will increase one more iteration here. Like we have to run 2 loops. One is vertical loop and one is horizontal loop. In these situations, we have to use nested for loops, like for loop inside a for loop. I hope You got some idea of what I am talking about? For suppose n equal to 5, let's take, for I in range of n, just print I. Yeah, a loop is iterating 5 times. So my vertical part is completed. I want to print zeros in 5 lines from 0 to 4. Let's take here, we will print I plus 1. Okay. We got from 1 to 5. In first line, I want to print 1 star. Let us assume star here. In second line, I want to print 2 stars like this. One vertical loop is completed. Now we will build horizontal loop here. J. Now I am taking one more variable here, new variable, j in range of I. Let us assume I plus 1 here. We got some, but here we have to change some. Uh, Let me remove this print statement. Instead of j, I will give star here. Yeah. Let me print j as well. First time j equal to 0. Yeah, if you observe here, when I executed this code, I'm getting stars in same line. For that reason, I'll use /n here. Yeah, now I got what I'm expecting here. First in first line I got star 1 star. In second line I got 2. In third line 3. Fourth line 4. Fifth line 5. Yeah, here we are running 2 for loops, nested for loop inside a for loop. One for loop will take care about this number of lines. One for loop will take care about this number of stars in a line. First I started with n equal to 5. I want to print 5 lines. So for that I am looping through 5 lines. 5 lines means this vertical for loop. After that, in first line I have to print 1 star. So I am looping over this I. Inside I we have 0, but I want 1 star in first line, so I given I plus 1. Inside j we will get 1, so it's printing 1 star here. Why I am giving this end means if you didn't give n, it will print star in the next line. Why? Because you are giving print statements one after one. If you give print for 2, after that you are giving print 4. If you observe, 2 is in one line, 4 is in one line, like it's went to new line. Why? Because inside print, that is default behavior of print. If you have 2 print statements one after one, definitely it will go to new line. But in my situations I want to print stars in same line. For that reason, I will give here end equal to space. So this for next output will be printed in same line. For that reason, I given end here. This is the some examples of a nested for loop. If you have any doubts, why we taken for inside a for. If you have any doubts, let me ask now. If you understand well, then tomorrow I will give one more example on for loop. You have to submit that code by next class. If you have any doubts, please let me know. I will explain one more time on this nested for loops. Node outside. Okay, that's all for today. Today we did some operations on while loop. Like I'll give quick recap. Yeah, in loops we have two types of loops: while loops and for loops. While loops have three steps: declaring a variable, keeping a condition, after that increment. We did some task printing numbers from 0 to 100. After that, we did some task 100 to 0, how to incrementing a while loop and decrementing a while loop. After that, we did this one accessing list items with while loop. We have a list. We want to fetch out each item programmatically with while loop. For that, we did this one. After that, we came here for loops. For loops is mainly used for iterative code where we have a sequence or a range. You don't have a condition like we have to check less than this, greater than that. You have a range or sequence. In that situations, we will use for loop. I explained about a range function, how to start values from 0 to n number, and how to skip even numbers and how to skip even odd numbers with this range. After that, same this is a code for accessing item in a list with for loop. If you observe, same code we written in 5 lines. Here we did it in a 2 lines or maybe 3 lines. You can include this one as well, list as well. Main difference between while loop and for loop. After that, we did one more problem on FizzBuzz. This is a famous interview question. If you're applying for some product-based companies, if you are a fresher, you are a fresh graduate, you will get this type of question. Simple question: for and if else statement, combination of for and if else. After that, we have else statement we can use with for. After finishing this for loop, you will get to notify with this else statement. You can keep some automated task inside else. After that, we came here for nested for loops, for inside a for loop. Here you may feel a little bit tricky why we are taking a for loop inside a for loop. Here we have a two tasks. One will take care about number of lines, one will take care about number of stars in that line. So for that reason, we have taken two for loops here. This end statement, why I given space means defaultly that will be given as a slash n. Yeah, I explained here, right? If you remove this end, it will print 2, 4 in a new two separate lines. We don't want to do that. For that reason, I given end equal to space here, just space. That's why we are getting space here. For suppose if I want dot instead of space, I can give like simple dot. You will get dot between like dot between print statement to one another print statement like that, but we will keep it as a spaces only. That's all for today. I'll share this document in WhatsApp. We have only 6 conditions. Otherwise, I'll write here what we have. 2 input statements. Just I'm giving like hints. If you want, you can refer this. 4 condition statements. Here, why I am collecting number of backlogs means in future, like after finishing this task, I want to give some more additional task on this same question. That's why I'm collecting number of backlogs as well. But initially, I will keep this as a simple. After that, we will add some complexity to this statement. Then you will get to know how to deal with the logic. 2 input statements and 4 conditional statements. If you want, you can refer this hint as well. Okay. Tomorrow, before starting session, try to submit this code. Maybe you can send Python file in a WhatsApp group, or maybe you can send a mail. I will share my mail ID as well. Just share your code there. I'll execute that. If you are using better logic, or suppose if you want to improve your logic, I will give suggestions. But definitely you have to submit this code, and you have to share your experience, how you felt working on this task. Like what are the errors you got? Have you solved that error? Have you felt do you felt any confusion with if else statement or any other thing? We will get clarity how much you understand from last 1 week. Whatever the concepts we covered, we will get to know how much you understand, how much practice you need. I will get to know by seeing your code and your execution. Okay, I'm stopping this session. If you have any doubt, just ask now. Otherwise, I'm going to end this session. Yeah.